But yeah, editors is a good one too. Like you don't see a lot of offers for editing out there,
Yeah.
Film and video, that's pretty
film
cool.
and video, that's cool. So would that be like all aspects of film and video, or like your crowdfunding videos, things like that?
Yeah, you get animators, you get people who make little promo videos, people who make full feature films. You
that's
basically
great.
Connect whoever you want.
Yeah, that's awesome. Jobs, podcasts. How does the podcast thing work? Is that just link you up with like, if I go on there, is like Catch the Craze #1 on there? Or is that like...
actually,
it's the only one in there.
if I'm not, I'm insulted. No, I'm just kidding. No, so we have. So basically, what it is, we want to make it for the indies, right? And there are a lot of podcasts out there that say, for example, I want to promote my book. They may not be indie friendly. These guys may be huge and they may not want your stuff on there. The podcasts that are on there right now are indie friendly. Gotcha. So if you do have something that you want to promote, you can definitely reach out to these guys and say, like, you guys would be a perfect podcast for that, for example, right? And it works both ways, because your podcast not only is listed on there, it could also generate subscribers, people following you. There's more eyes on the podcast, so that helps the podcasters as well as giving you content, to have more creators on there. And then the creator gets exposure by being on your podcast. So it helps both parties. So that's what's
great.
in the podcast.
Yeah, that's great. That's like a reason to join right there,
yeah.
Publishers, so small publishers, small indie publishers, reviewers. That's cool. So you guys would compile like a lot of comic reviewers, movie reviewers, things like that into the site as well.
Yeah,
that's cool. And then
I wonder if there's enough room on the servers to maintain all the egos of the publishers under that category.
Possibly. I don't know.
I wonder how many terabytes that translates.
How many gigs? What's that?
I said, I wonder how many terabytes that translates to.
And then the training. How does that actually work too? Like.
So
Sorry, go ahead, George.
No, go ahead.
Let's just both talk at once. So we go. It's just basically people who offer training. They can post themselves, they can list courses, and they can just link to their sites and stuff and tell you what they specialize in. So various things like that.
Gotcha.
Like it's not something like there's not like events in there where you like click in and then sign up and then you're taken to some classroom or anything. Like it's all people based.
Gotcha. So you could take you to a site that does that stuff, or that person offers.
Yeah.
So there aren't any like YouTube videos in there or anything like that.
Gotcha.
That's not what you're gonna find in there.
But like I said, like as you grow, that might become a thing to do, or I don't know.
Do you know what your subscriber base is, numbers wise, at the moment?
I'm not 100% sure. I'm also not sure we're sharing that. Just look for Hades, Hades in the chat there.
My apologies.
we reached out to a lot of people in the beginning, and we've built up basically a pre-community.
Okay, that was my concern.
So that you're not just showing up and no one's there right now.
Right.
Showing up, and we've reached out to a lot of quality people that we've built connections with and invited them on the website, and they have agreed to be on the website. So
that's great. Is there a big marketing push that Gig is gonna start doing with
so part of what we want to do is this, obviously get on podcasts, do presentations like this. I actually want to hit some conventions and maybe do panels to promote the fact that this is out there for people, if you want to create, because you got a lot of publishing panels, and I didn't mean to do the air quotes, publishing panels at conventions. And I think that that's very informative for people who want to, maybe, pitch to a publisher. But again, I don't think there is enough information out there on where to go to do this, to put a comic book together. I don't think there's enough out there for people who have no idea how to do this.
I agree with you. And like me and Johnny have been on comic book creating panels at Comic Cons, and there's a lot of people that show up for those, and they have tons of questions about that stuff, and it's not I mean, I think back to when I was starting to make comics.
Yeah.
And how there was nothing, and you just kind of had to learn. It was just like, and it was like going to conventions, and I remember getting my artists that way by meeting people there and being like, hey, you want to do my comic, but like there's definitely better ways to go about that, so
I just want to say the monthly expense to any experienced creator out there that's actively working and putting an honest to God living towards the process is that this resource would be a tax write-off anyway.
Right.
So go for it. What could it harm you? If anything, open the door and make it a little bit easier for you in your creative process, in your need to find and work with new people. And that's the other thing too, is like you find individuals, they tend to stick together when they, find somebody they work with well, and they don't really branch outside of that. I personally like to work with all different types of creators from everywhere. So to have a database or a resource or a community where people are actively looking to branch out like that, I find that to be invaluable as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the fee like you said, the fee kind of helps in a way, like you invest in yourself, right? If it
legitimizes it, like
it legitimizes it. And if you know you're serious about it,
right.
Like, I think it's worth spending the money about it.
Yeah, and I think it is kind of cool because you can sign up and just feature yourself and basically just set it and forget it. And you do kind of rely on the fact that like the internet is it relies on the rabbit holes that people go down. Because even if you're like not accepting work or you're too busy to take something on, like people are clicking on you and they're like, oh, you did that comic. That looks kind of neat. And all of a sudden you're on the website and all of a sudden you're purchasing comics and all of a sudden like that, right? Like,
right.
Even if you're not getting a job out of it, like maybe someone's buying one of your comics. And I guess one of the things that's worth mentioning too is it isn't just comics. Like you can be a novelist, you can be short stories and stuff. Like we come at this from a bit of a comic perspective, but it's for everyone. Anyone who's Indian out there.
It's indie, right? Like that's why you guys have an indie group, which I think is perfect. I mean, indie comics kind of is like why we're all here, but like but indie can be anything, So indie movies, indie music,
And the word global, right? Because as we know, the internet just has made the world so much smaller. I mean, we can reach out to people all over the world with our podcast, with whatever. So this is that you could be working, and people do already. I know I do for my comic book. I work with people, with artists in the Philippines. So I've been working globally with people outside of the US. So I think it's something that, we were passionate about. I mean, Laurie and I wouldn't be here if we weren't, you know what I mean? And I think it's important. I just think that it is important for people to like, if you really, like you said, Johnny, if you're serious, and you too, Keith, if you're serious about doing this, then this is a perfect place to kind of go check it out. See, let me see what, if I can find what I'm looking for here, an artist, writer, what a film. I'm ready to do an animation for my comic. Where do I go? Oh, cool, this guy does animation.
Sci-Fi for Me is about to take you on an incredible journey into the realms of science fiction, fantasy, and horror. Interviews with writers, filmmakers, artists, and actors. Conventions and fandom, previews and reviews of movies and television. Sci-Fi for Me is working to be the most popular science fiction magazine in the solar system. Subscribe now and enter the fantastic world of Sci-Fi for Me, delivering the multiverse since 2009.